Hi, folks. Welcome to Follow the Leader, a podcast focused on telling character-driven stories through the use of GM-less tabletop games where we can all take the lead. You can find us on Twitter at FTLcast and at FTLcast.com. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/FTLcast. Today we're playing Fall of Magic by Ross Cowman. For those of you who are new to the game, here are the basics. Magic is dying, and the Magus is dying with it. We travel together to the realm of Umbra where magic was born. Fall of Magic is a collaborative storytelling game where we play a group of travelers in the company of the Magus. On the way, we'll encounter strange hosts, fantastic places, and perilous choices as we play to discover who our characters are, how they relate, and how our journey changes them. I'm August, and you can find me on Twitter at Harpydora, and the games that I've written at harpydora.itch.io, and my pronouns are they, them. Playing with me today we have...
Hi, I'm Jade. You can find me on Twitter at JadeOxfordRose. My pronouns are they, them. And you can also hear me on Dumb Kids Playing Hero, an Animorphs-inspired actual play podcast, also starring August with a bunch of our friends from Rumor It Happened, as well as Mac. And you can find that at DKPHpod on Twitter.
Hello, my name is Zachary Lee Frederickson. You can find me on Twitter at Office and God. You can find the music I do at iambugbear.bandcamp.com. You can also hire me to run tabletop games for you. The details are on my Twitter. My pronouns are he, him, and I have no other plugs at this time.
All right. Our lines, which are things we absolutely do not want to see, are homophobia and transphobia, racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, violence against children and animals, sexual assault, domestic violence or intimate partner violence, unwanted pregnancy, and plagues and pandemics. Our veils, which we're fine with addressing but will just fade to black on, are steamy situations, graphic descriptions of bodily harm, and terminal illness. Now that we've got all that, let's get started. Wrong song.
That's the other name generator.
Okay, so like I said, Fall of Magic is a collaborative storytelling game, and Fall of Magic is played with a very pretty map, which we have in Roll20, because it has a Roll20 module, and the first thing that we do is we choose a name for our character. There are some pretty cool names on the scroll, but we decided we were going to make up our own names. So, Jade, who are you playing? What is your character's name?
My character's name is Arcady. They use they, them pronouns. And they are a fugitive of Stormguard.
Ooh. So, when we do the titles, other players are encouraged to ask questions about it. So my question is, what is Arcady running from?
They took something that they should not have. And didn't look back.
So the consequences of their actions.
What?
I haven't decided exactly what it is yet, but
I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, very fun.
Yeah.
Very cool. What were you before you were a fugitive?
A member of the court.
Oh. Courtier.
Nice. How about you, Zach?
I will be taking the helm of Arcturus Regulus, a knight of Stormguard.
Ooh. Do y'all know each other? Is this like a Javert, Jean Valjean situation?
It might be. It also could be that it's like the thing that you took is important for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, obviously you are also coming on this quest.
Fair.
I don't know how much of a fugitive you can be now that I've found you, but I suppose you're not back there yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what were Arcturus's pronouns?
He, him.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. Arcturus Regulus, Knight of Stormguard, Lightning Rider, Spear of the Split Sky.
Ooh.
See, now I feel I should elaborate a little bit, because when I said member of the core, I was kind of underselling it.
Oh.
Like, they're a child of the family. Like, they're, like, right up there.
Oh. The Storm Queen.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what was established about what Stormguard is, or whether that changed from version to version, but, like, whether it was, like, a royal family, or, like, a lordship, or a fiefdom, or whatever.
So there's the Stormguard Mountains and Castle Stormguard. We have Alana Storm Queen, is what it says. That's like established. That's on the scroll. Who Alana Storm Queen is and how she became Storm Queen is, I suppose, different thing. There's also a Tomb of the Storm King, so that could be a specific Storm King, or just like it could be a family, or it could be like a title that was bestowed. Not 100%.
Well, cool. Then let's Alana is my mum. We'll run with that.
Oh, fantastic! So you are both fugitive and heir.
Nice.
Yeah. Arguably, I may have disinherited myself. Forcibly.
You're not allowed to. You can't do. No, that's not. No. Your Majesty.
That's not how inheritance works.
Yes, they decide.
Cricket.
Incredible. Who are you playing, August?
I will be playing Lothely, who is a midwife of Barleytown. Faye uses Faye or she pronouns, and I just want to say that I envisioned Faye as a, like, very large, like 9 foot tall, like half treant person with like leaves for hair that change with the seasons. So
very good.
Oh yeah.
And I've picked a tree token to represent her.
Sick. I picked the sword, even though I do not use a sword.
What do you use?
I use
polearm. That's right. You said that. Sorry.
I am, in Final Fantasy terms, I am the Dragoon.
Nice.
Which means I jump really high into the sky and then stab people with a spear.
Yes.
Cool as hell. I will take this one of the storm over mountains.
Ooh.
Oh, and then this bird, I suppose, must be our Magus.
Yes.
All right. So we're in setup mode.
Yes.
We've chosen our tokens. We've placed the Magus at Ravenhall, where our journey begins. So this is a game where we go around and we tell stories.
Yes. Yeah, in Fall of Magic, we take turns one at a time telling a small part of the story. During your turn, other players may contribute ideas, make suggestions, and act out other characters, but you get final say over what happens during your turn. We each also get final say over what is true about our own character. And on each turn, you move your character token and describe the scene from their perspective. Before the scene ends, you have to use a story prompt to add additional elements to your scene. So each location has, like, a couple of different, like, story prompts that you can use. As far as I know, multiple people can use the same story prompt if they want. Yeah, so That is how play progresses. And then we also have to move the Magus as we progress on our journey. So if your character's already done something, you can choose to move the Magus, and you can do a scene as the Magus.
I think the Magus starts on Ravenhall, and then we move on to Ravenhall.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Quick question. What's our Magus like? Like old, young, timeless, human.
A ball of light.
Yeah. Or, a literal raven, since the Magus token is the raven token.
I am a little bit predilected to like a Gandalf, specifically like a Gandalf the Grey sort of I'm just an old man and I'm gonna go along and do stuff, and probably I know what's going on, but I'm not gonna talk about it like I do.
See, I like that because I was gonna pitch maybe something like one of the witches in Discworld. So like Nanny Ogg meets Gandalf is a very fun vibe.
Now the only witch I know is Granny Weatherwax. So tell me about Nanny Ogg.
Nanny Ogg has I can't remember if her husband has so many children, and her sons all adore her. Her daughters-in-laws do everything for her because they're terrified of her. She has this cat called Grebo who got turned into a human one time and was inexplicably really hot when a human. But her whole vibe is she's very much like that motherly type, but like Granny, she's arguably the mother of the three. Of the three Lanka witches, because obviously you don't call Esme Weatherwax a crone to her face, but everybody knows that's who she is.
I see, yeah.
But yeah, Nanny Ogg is sort of very much got that hedge witch sort of vibe, making remedies in the home, that's her style. Very jovial. She likes to drink and things like that. But I very much like the way witches are generally in Discworld, because obviously wizards are wizards. Witches actually do stuff
instead of pontificating and academicalizing.
But I like the thought of our Magus being somebody who sort of seems very down to earth. He's concerned with the small things, not lofty ideals.
I like an uncle, a good natured uncle.
I'm down with
character. It's not related to anyone, but everyone calls them uncle. Uncle Maggie.
Oh my god.
I'm trying to think of a good face claim for this person. What older actors do I like? Other than
Brian Blessed.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Yeah. Can we find a face claim who's not white?
I suppose Brian Blessed is just an incredible man.
Oh, what about the guy who played Baze in Rogue One?
Ooh. Yeah. I like that idea a lot.
Baze Malbus.
Jiang Wen. But I like the longer hair vibe that he has as Baze Malbus in Rogue One.
Yeah. I like that a lot. Yeah, nothing against Brian Blessed. I just,
I'll still do the
He can
voice.
speak like Brian Blessed.
Yeah.
He will probably sound less like Brian Blessed when it's my turn to play him. But, I'm looking forward to hearing Zach do a Brian Blessed voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of just a old, good-natured guy who has to know more than he lets on, but really doesn't let it on.
I like Ben Kenobi. I know the second start, but Ben Kenobi vibes. And then it turns out, oh no, this is Obi-Wan. It's just sort of there is a lot of strength there that people don't realize necessarily. Or everyone says, Uncle's super powerful, right? Just yeah, okay. Because nobody's seen him do anything super impressive in a long time, but he still does the fireworks for the kids and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. The Gandalf. Yeah, perfect.
Love it.
Cool. So that is our Magus, the uncle.
Yeah.
Or grandfather, but uncle, but grandfather's just
that's too much
it's
authority.
like a patriarchal role. Yeah, I gotta find some way to get out of this.
That's too much responsibility.
Yeah, perfect.
Love it.
Extremely cool. Yeah, so it's President's 12, Ravenhall location, bridge is the scene, you're facing the river story prompt. Cool, okay. It's been a long time since I've heard anyone play this, and I didn't read all of these, but I feel like once we get into it, it'll like...
We'll find our rhythm.
Yeah.
It how we be. Does anybody have a strong feeling and want to go first? So no.
Well, no, I'm just looking.
No, you're good.
Are we supposed to start with the Magus, or do we?
I'm not 100% sure. It's not mentioned in setup. This is why I wanted to get the full PDF, but
it's not opening. Yeah.
I'm glad it was like that for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The catalog opens.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I found... Well, this is swell. The PDF is the exact same stuff.
Ah, well.
So I guess you can opt to play... we have to be on the map before somebody can play the Magus. Yeah. So one of us has to go first.
Yeah. I kind of want to do the menagerie. The story prompt is the last time you saw real magic. And I think the menagerie of Ravenhall it's actually kind of like a cross between a botanical garden and like a wildlife preserve. There are a lot of like very neatly manicured plants and shrubs and trees, artfully arranged. And there are no cages here, no fences or anything like that, and the animals just wander free. And I think it's kind of a good mix between animals we would consider normal and then like the occasional magical creature or magically altered animal. Like, I don't know, it's very trite, but maybe there's like an elderly phoenix kind of like hopping around on the ground kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Lothalie is wandering through the grounds, and I think Faye sees that phoenix and I guess is reminded of a time where there was like a traveling show back when, before magic really started dying, and there was a phoenix as part of the show, and it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know, like, those they're like corpse flowers or whatever, the gigantic ones that only bloom like once every decade or something. So like this particular phoenix like revives once every 15 years or so, and so this was a special show that she got to see, and Faye wonders if this is actually the same phoenix and what's going to happen now that magic is dying, if the phoenix is going to revive or if it's going to pass on.
So the Magus is also in Ravenhall. Do you think he's around while you're doing this, or is this a solitary Lothalie by herself scene?
I think it may be one of those things where she sees the Magus in the distance, but I don't think she approaches him just yet.
Sure. I bet in the menagerie, the thing he spends most of his time doing is like feeding animals and like taking care of them.
I love that.
Like he's like a gardener, except they're all like animals.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of strolling the grounds and doing just general upkeep.
as much as I hate to invoke this, like, the best scene in Fantastic Beasts where they're going around feeding all of the animals in Newt's case, kind of thing.
I haven't seen it, but I'll take your word for it.
I was going to say like an older version of Coyote Peterson.
Yeah. Or like...
or Steve Irwin.
Or Sybil Ramkin.
Yeah. Does that mean he has a wig because he keeps getting his hair burnt off?
Probably not. He's a Magus, so it probably grows back. But he does have a big apron full of pockets.
Love it.
That have like little treats in them for the creatures.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
And maybe this is that phoenix. Maybe he goes around, and when old performing beasts are kind of done with their careers, he takes them in like a wildlife preserve.
Mm.
What do we think Ravenhall looks like beyond the little image we have on the thing? Is it like a empty place, or are there people living here?
I like the thought that maybe it's like an institute of learning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still like the Magus is like positioning himself as like this uncle figure, gardener type, just around. Isn't like a teacher there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just like the thought of it being bustling, and maybe the uniforms of the students of all ages are black, and so like they're the ravens of running around, and like sounds of their robes like flapping in the wind as they run from class to class.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And it's not even a school for magic; it's just a school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I think I got something.
Oh yeah.
All right. So this is Arcady, and I've been trying to figure out like what they look like, how old they are, because originally I had a different idea about who they were as a person, but I think they've got that quality to them that could be like they don't look quite human. Like there's something to their features that's a little other, but it's not like you'd maybe expect of an elf either. There's just a quality to them. I think they've got sort of deep, sort of dark olivey skin and very, very dark blue black hair that tumbled sort of around their face, escaping sort of whatever tie they've pulled it back in. And they sort of enter the scene and step onto that bridge and are looking out over the water and at their reflection. And I think they hate how much they look like their mother and the weight of that. And they're sort of like, they have like one hand in the bag at their side, but they don't draw out what's in there. And they're just sort of like murmuring quietly to themselves that it was the right thing to do. Like they're telling themselves, talking to their reflection.
Does your reflection talk back?
I don't think it says anything, but it does nod. Like, maybe not like, yes, you did the right thing, but like a nod of acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
And that maybe the water gets a little faster, like as it rushes over the stones underneath.
Cool. Very cool.
I like the thought that maybe, and it's probably quite a clear day, but as that water starts rushing faster, I think dark clouds start moving overhead as rain moves in.
Mm-hmm. Certainly a building strong on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Cool. Is that your scene?
I think so.
All right. In that case, I think I've got something. But I could use someone to play the Magus.
I'm down for that, even though...
Have at it, because I have dogs barking in the background right now.
Yeah, I just can't sound like Brian Blessed, but if I can be forgiven for that.
So, this is going to take place at the scrying pool. And we're going to explore why I serve the Magus. As those storm clouds that are on the horizon in Arcades' scene kind of blow in towards Ravenhall, I think the scrying pool is... It's like a hot spring, or like a pure like spring water, like rock pool, up in one of the higher reaches of Ravenhall, and is a place that the Magus enjoys taking like a snack break at. And I don't know if we're going to end up using it, but the sky above rumbles as a bolt of lightning strikes the scrying pool, and riding down it is Arcturus Regulus, who's then absolutely soaked because he overshot and landed in a pool of water. So this very regal, kind of like rugged, grizzled knight in Electrum armor is sputtering in a pool of water. He's got like a tan, like weather-beaten face, this kind of wild, barely tamed, wavy, like burnt copper red hair. And then the sign of the Storm Guard, which is his electric blue eyes. And he overshoots it and slams into the pool right in front of the Magus.
I think the Magus is very carefully, like, I almost want to say that, like, he's out there with, like, a picnic basket and is on a blanket that is literally just outside the splash zone of Arcturus's arrival.
Can I offer you a detail?
Absolutely.
I like the thought that he had it set up and the basket was the other side of him, and as the clouds running, he literally just picks up the basket and moves it to the other side of him, so when Arcturus lands and splashes, the basket would have gotten wet if he hadn't moved it.
And then it doesn't. Yeah, it's incredible.
What was Arcturus's main title again?
I forget.
Lightning Rider.
I am a lightning rider. Yes. The spear of the split sky was another one.
Yeah. I think the Magus opens the basket, and at the bottom there's like a soft towel that he pulls out and offers it to Arcturus and says, I foresaw your coming.
Of course you did. Arcturus takes the towel and like steps out. His boots squelch as he steps out of the pool. He's got this long, flowing cape. He's like very much got like a superhero look going on with a suit of armor and a cape. And his cape is just completely waterlogged. And he says, "If you knew I was coming, I wish you would have just, I don't know, put a trampoline or something down."
Well, if I put a trampoline down over the scrying pool, how would I be able to see you coming? His eyes kind of twinkle a little bit.
He like he's wringing out his cape now. Arcturus is, and he says, "Well, if you saw me coming, I imagine you know why I'm here. Where is the missing royal?"
And the Magus kind of like cocks his head and says, "I believe that they are crossing the bridge just now. You've arrived just in time."
Just in time for what?
To meet them, of course.
Do you know why the lightning is not as accurate as it used to be? There used to be a time when I could ride down from the clouds and strike a target the size of a pinhole. But now I've missed the mark by 100 feet.
I have my suspicions, sadly. It will take some investigation, which is why I am glad you're here. But, if you wish to catch a cold, you may stay here, but I would recommend that we retire to the Ravenhall proper. You can polish your armor, get the water out of your cape.
All right, but don't think that this is going to get me off the trail.
I wouldn't dream of distracting you.
That's what you said last time. As Arcturus follows the Magus down the mountain from the scrying pool to see the sights, to go dry off. And that's 3 turns.
Yeah. So, I know I have the option of going to another scene here, but I think I'm probably gonna move the Magus. I think it's probably not the next day, but the day after, where the Magus gathers everybody and says, well, I have some research to do, and I need some wonderful companions to assist me in my research. You've all been deputized, gesturing at Arcady, Arcturus, and Lothalie. And he says, we ride out for the Oak Hills in 2 hours. I hope you're all prepared. I've packed some extra snacks for the journey, but it shan't take too long. I imagine we'll be there by nightfall. So, we're headed to Oak Hills. Do we all have horses, or is there like a cart?
I mean, this is the menagerie. We have the menagerie here. We probably have... There's certainly are horses available, but I don't know if there's any that will carry lawfully.
Yeah.
Though, of course, fair strides are wider and longer than a human's.
That is very fair. And I don't imagine that half-treant people have to worry about lactic acid buildup in their muscles, so Faye could probably...
Just walk all day?
Yeah. So I think as long as the horses keep a nice trot, Lothalie can keep up. Like, if they bolted, there's no way, but, like, just regular traveling pace, yeah.
Just a nice stroll, an amble, as it were.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Arcturus says, well, the lightning is continuing to be difficult, and I do need to bring Arcadia back to Stormguard, which should be on the way, so luckily we'll take the scenic route.
And the Magus is just, like, kind of smiling, and is just like, dear Arcturus, don't you know that the journey is really the important part, and less the destination?
Just make sure that your horses are properly bridled.
Of course.
He goes to check the horses.
They're not properly bridled.
The 2 hours of time that it takes that everyone gets to rest and get ready for the thing is spent by Arcturus fixing all the horse saddles.
Arcady introduces themselves to Lothalie while this is going on.
You said Arcady. Oh, no, Arcady's short for Arcadia, not Arcady is short. I mean, no. Either way.
I mean, no, yeah. I mean, they're going to be shorter than Lothalie. I I'm trying to decide what I like more. I play a lot of smalls.
Yeah.
I also play, I actually kind of like that Arcadia is like tall and quite broad.
Mhm.
Like, not like especially muscly, but they're certainly not, that you wouldn't use willowy to describe them. They're like solidly built.
Mhm.
They are, of course, of Stormguard.
Yeah, like they have that bulk to
Mhm.
them.
The mountain does not produce weaklings.
I think of that, like, I just looks up at Lothar, just like, I cannot apologize enough for that. Sorry.
Well, there's no need to apologize. I am used to dealing with squalling children, so this is fine.
Arcady feels like they've possibly just been negged a little bit, but
I mean, I'm not saying they haven't been.
wicked.
Lawfully is suddenly sassy.
It's great. Love it. Love that for her. I love that for Fem. It's good. Good shit.
And Lawfully just kind of smiles and is just like, well, I wasn't really planning on journeying with such company, but I believe it will be pleasant.
I hope to find some of your optimism on the way.
I've heard it's contagious.
Uh-huh. Here's hoping. And they sort of go off to one of the horses that has already been checked. And just like start like fussing over the horse for the sake of something to do.
Mm-hmm.
I like the thought that this might be true of Arcturus as well, but that there's always a slight scent of ozone around.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Storm.
Oh yeah, we are shocking everyone we talk to.
Oh, like casual, like static electricity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We're just this. It's just part of the job. Cool.
What does Oak Hill look like when we get there? I mean, you know, obviously on the map the picture shows just like rolling hills with trees that are presumably oaks, and the caption for the Oak Hills is the ending of summer. Like, is there any sort of like encampment? Is this like a well-traveled road?
I think I like the thought of it being pretty well traveled, but you know, holloways, like those natural sort of occurring paths between trees.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like a lot of that through the hills, and like you've got like places where like these big thick gnarled roots like arch over the holloways, and like
Ooh.
it's not all naturally occurring hills with trees on. I like the thought that maybe there's some of these trees are so big that their roots form the hill.
Mm-hmm.
So I just really like that. Like the topography isn't trees on top of topography. The trees are the topography. And it's not like grass that you're walking on. It's like the roots of these massive trees, like old world, massive oaks.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then maybe people have even like, these trees are so big, people have been able to carve pathways through the trees, but the trees are so old and strong that they're still alive, even though they have like entire pathways through them.
Like the redwoods.
Mm.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I think maybe some treants actually live here too.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe they're like older treants that hibernate a bunch of the time, so they just look like normal trees, just a little bit taller off in the distance.
Mm.
Very cool.
So the Magus has arrived.
Does anything happen when the Magus arrives at somewhere?
Describe the location and its story prompt from the perspective of the Magus.
Oh, the Magus goes to a story prompt.
Mm-hmm. Which would be the Oak Hills, ending of summer, Barleytown, the house. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So for the ending of summer, I think like as we crest one of the hills and look across the land, it's actually like there's a distinct demarcation near the path that's closer to Ravenhall. There's, like, the trees that are deciduous are very green, and then there's just, like, a line where all of a sudden the leaves are, like, gold and red and fiery, and the Magus is on his horse, and, like, some of his jovial nature has fallen away, and he just kind of, like, looks sadly into the distance and says to Arcturus, "This is why the lightning's aim is not true." But he doesn't elaborate.
Mm-hmm. But Arcturus's, face is grim as he sees the change, and then kind of spurs his horse forward.
How long has the lightning's aim been off?
I feel like not as long as magic has been dying. I think that the Storm Guard has such a hold on their sort of, like, very small, like, corner of the world that they just were able to like, cling to it for much longer than everyone else was.
Mm-hmm.
But so this is, like, honestly kind of, like, bad news, because this is, like, one of the last vestiges of, like, real, like, crazy stuff that people were capable of doing.
Cool. I think maybe the Arcady left before that, or didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think they are a lightning rider. I don't think that's ever been something they do. They have other things they can do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think hearing the two of, like, the Magus and Arcturus, like, they, like, look around. I think maybe there's that, like, when there's static electric, like, as they turn around, there's that crackle of static sound down their clothes as they sort of, like, look round, surprised to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lothalie, as she comes to stand with the rest of y'all, is just like, well, if you can no longer aim the lightning, then I suppose my sleeping cousins are a little safer. Just kind of, like, glibly.
Mm-hmm.
One could argue if the lightning's aim is off, they're more at risk.
Perhaps. I suppose that remains to be seen.
Taurus is stoic.
Alrighty. Oh, is it me? Do I need to do a thing?
I believe so.
Alrighty. I'm going, because we haven't had one yet, and because I'm going to use Making Camp, which has traits. So let me check what traits mean. So story prompts with a plus symbol are traits. After we're describing the scene, select one of these traits listed and describe how that is true about one of the characters, yours or one of another player. Then that trait gets added to the character's note card. So I think, like, dusk is falling and we sort of reach an area that's going to be good for us to make camp, and it's like almost like a hollow on the side, and, like, there's roots arching up above, like almost like a bed of, like, soft earth. Like, sort of, it's not quite a cage being formed by the roots, but it is almost like preventing shelter from some of the wind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's oddly cozy for being, like, so open to the elements as it is. And we have to make the fire a little bit away so the heat isn't any risk to the any of the drier wood, because, again, end of summer.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a nice place and it feels pretty clean and dry. So I don't know who calls to a stop. I know maybe it's Lothalie who can make sure that it's not like we're not sleeping underneath somebody who's just having a nap, kind of a vibe. Just like, is this an okay tree to be under?
Yeah. And Lothalie just kind of nods and says, the soil is fine here. You should be able to rest easy.
All right. And sort of like Arcady hops down from their horse and sort of brings it over and starts sort of like settling down, helping make camp.
Arcturus, ties the horses up and says, "It is of no concern. A knight of the Storm Guard can rest anywhere."
Just because you can doesn't mean you have to. Snaps out the bedroll.
Lothily kind of snorts at that and is just like, you have to rest. I do not. But you don't see me bragging about it.
Your lack of need comes from your origin. Mine comes from training.
She just shrugs and kind of like, she doesn't have a bedroll or anything. She just kind of like sits down, kind of like on folded legs, and places her hands in her lap, and then sort of turns toward the direction that the sun sets, and says, "Well, you can give your training a rest. I will take watch."
Arcturus puts down a bedroll and immediately falls asleep.
Very good. I'm trying to think what else goes in here, whether the Magus does anything. I feel like he's the one that maybe starts the fire, and I just like the visual of him sat idly. I feel like there's got to be smoking a pipe, because we cited Gandalf, and that's just like right up there in visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for what it's worth, Nanny-Og, I believe, also smokes a pipe. Because, yes. And...
He's just watching things with glittering eyes.
Yeah. Alrighty. Got to assign one of these traits to somebody.
Isn't it to yourself?
I can choose to assign it to another player, based on the scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
As per the PDF. None of these traits feel particularly right based on what I have just seen. Of what it's worth, the traits under Making Camp are wealthy, cunning, and kind. So,
I don't know. I feel like we could potentially apply cunning to Arcady.
Maybe. I am not averse. Really, because describe how that is true about one of the characters. So I don't know, it doesn't have to have been directly addressed either. Like, it doesn't say that that's the case.
Yeah.
Also, because I feel like cunning could also be applied to Lothally in her way. Like, they aren't afraid to, like, play at the game and win. Like, I feel like they're very aware of things. If you don't object, I think I might apply cunning to Lothally.
Okay, cool.
Because I like that she is sassy, and I am down with this half-end midwife of Barleytown who's cunning.
Okay, yeah, I'm down with that.
Sweet.
You sure I didn't show how wealthy I was?
Hi, it's August, and I just wanted to thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed us, please consider leaving a rating on your podcast platform of choice, telling your friends about us, or tweeting about us using the FTLcast hashtag. We are also part of a nonprofit podcasting guild called Standing Stones Productions. We do a variety of shows, including The Room Where It Happened and Dumb Kids Playing Hero, 2 actual play shows, and a Steven Universe discussion podcast called Gay Space Rocks. We also do live streams at twitch.tv/standingstonesprod. You can keep up with everything that we do on Twitter at stones_standing. Unfortunately, Standing Stones was already taken. Your support means a lot. Thanks again!